This is Sally Blake, voiceover 29th of the 12th, 1999. This is Michael Blake with some baby and breeds around 1970. That's her 4 daughters, three home from Blackpool. That's Bea and Willie there, toasting themselves, all their cards. We had a lovely night. That's the family again with them, and Martin, who is Bridie's husband. And Bridie, she looks very young there. Their lovely cake. That's the Collinses. Bea Macaulay, who is deceased, Bea was her bridesmaid, and she was there to celebrate. And Willie Conaghan, who used to ring the bells in the cathedral, and that's Johnny McCormick, Sis McGavigan, Martin's father. That's Charlie Collins, famous Highland Radio, and that's Margaret McCormick a long time ago. Margaret was daily from the back road, and she lives in Ardonal. That's Charlie Collins, who entertained us all our lives, and Charlie just passed on last Christmas, 1998. That's Mrs. Willie Ponsonby, next door neighbours. That's Charlie's wife. That's Eilish Sweeney, who was Conaghan, who lived next door with them. And that's their son Colm, who was born in 1967. Eilish is doing a jig. She always entertained us very well. Willie Conaghan was well known for the violin. He used to play at the Fascias in years gone by. That's Magina, Willie's sister. She's passed on as well. That's Sis McGavigan, and that's Martin's father, who's passed on. Willie's doing a jig there with Eilish round the kitchen. Josie McCormick, Martin, that's Charlie again, and Bea Macaulay. Now, some of these people I don't know because they're not from town. That's Charlie Collins' sister. It's Colm Sweeney and Josie McCormick and Bida. Now, that's Bridie Curran, the back road, and Andy McGranahan. And that's Breach Blake, and that would be Bridie, one of Bridie's children. They've all grown up now. This would have been the festival, and that's Pascal Blake. Coming up Lower Main Street, Greta Peoples with one of her daughters. Those girls are all married now with their own families. This is the Peopleses in the backyard, and Breach Blake on the swing. Kevin Peoples and Greta, and Mrs. Malloy of Rosemount, and Mary Vaughan, and Rosaline Malloy, and Dara and Nadine Peoples, and Kevin Peoples. As I say, all those girls are grown up now and married. Mrs. Peoples, who's long dead, she had a lovely shop on the main street, ladies' shop. Sean Curran, one of the daughters, she's married down the lane too. That's Nora Curran. I don't know whether it's Siobhan or which of them it is, but that was a gentleman who came to do a parachute jump for the festival. That's Granny Blake and Mary, Nellie Daly and her daughter, or son, I'm not sure which. Bridie Keys and some of her family. Jim Nallen, Willie O'Donnell. Willie is long dead at Gallard or Hegarty's Hotel, looking out at the festival in the Market Square. There's Tony Goller and Patsy O'Donnell going down the street with the Letterkenny band, and the late Frank Vaughan as well with them. See the crowds in the street now. just for a Saturday afternoon. This would have been the festival parade. The Old Irish Kitchen was an annual event, an old forge. People put an awful lot of work into the festival parade in those days. And as you see, the town was packed from top to bottom. Bands came from all arts and parts, as well as groups. There's another float. Now, to give you an idea of the number of people, we were up in Hegarty's Hotel, which Shelby Green has now. There was no platform there then. We just looked out the windows and took what we could on camera as they came downtown. I think that'll be Tommy Alcorn's float. Tommy always went to a lot of trouble and put on a float, nearly always won it as well. I hope I'm right now because... Oopsie-daisy. Now I say this is Kelly's float. And there's Charlie Collins, old King Cole. On the coal lorry, Charlie was always a big part of the festival as well. I just don't know which one that is now. But they're giving away plenty of stuff. This is the Morris dancers entertaining on the street, the festival. Now the crowds would have started at the bottom of the Port Road, and there would be that type of crowds the whole way up the street from top to bottom. The weather used to always be very good as well for those days. There's their full band. This is the ESB float. A lot of work went into preparing that every year. And now this is the Donegal Oil Company float. The Donegal Oil Company over the years used to sponsor this parade for the festival committee. This is the Barnhill Nursery float, very colourful as well. And this is one from Shock with the Lagan. This must be Donegal Creamery one. I might be wrong. Now, this is McConnell's. I think this was Harry Russell's. Harry Russell used to have the Swilly Joineries. IAWS, they always put a float on. Patricia McCarry put a lot of work into that. And they also used to put an Irish float on. This is another very colourful one. Now this is Mickey Cullen was an annual parade person as well, and Johnny McCormick always was on that float. I just cannot find which one this was. Chaplin's. This must be the Gaeltachts one. I hope I'm right in that. It is the Gaeltachts. I think I can see Gaeltachts on it. And that's the Jacobs one. Dan McTeague would have been involved with that. I think that must be O'Donnell's Bakery, and that's McDade's over in Melton. I think I saw Aki O'Donnell in O'Donnell's Bakery van there. Milford Flour Mills. This is the Moneyglass troupe who came to the festival a number of years, and the Robert Emmett from Castlefin. This will be the Letterkenny group, Bridie Hegarty, the God Mercy, and her group. I just don't know which band that is. That must be the Festival Collins. And that's the Ballerine Hotel, now the Mount Errigal. That's the Health Board one. They always went to a lot of trouble and put a lot of work into St. Connell's and the hospital, I think, went together. And they did a very good float. Used to come up very high in the reckonings. You can see the crowds there. Unbelievable crowds. Now, I hope I can tell who these are, but it's not just easy sometimes. Oh, Andy Boyle and his wife, and Kathleen Blake and John and Laura Morrow, Bridget Gallagher, Hughie McGee and Jeanette McGee and her mother, Jenny. That's Mrs. McDade from Ramelton. Now this will be the junior art competition, which was an annual event, and the flower show. The ICA ladies did an awful lot of work, and they always did the opening reception for the festival committee. Oh, that's Johnny Cuckoo and that's Teresa Doherty, and that's Liam Blake, and Eileen Gillen and her family. Harry McCafferty. Harry had a business in London. Claire Ramsey, God of Mercy, and Sally McLoone, and Nora McConnell, who's also deceased. Now, that is John Fox and Mrs. Fox and their family. Paddy Stevenson, who is a great film producer now. That's Joe Harkin, who had the bicycle shop, and that's a Gallen man who used to work in Oatfield, and Jack Hunter, who worked in Oatfield. Patsy Maxwell was there too, and John McLaughlin. Down the Port Road, Paddy McCarran, who was great into films in his days. That's a group from Lifford who came to the cinema during the festival. They were in the rehab workshop over there, so they came to town to see what was going on that particular time as well. Tommy Mullen entertained them there, if I remember rightly. Cinema's changed a lot since then. That's Pascal Blake and Mairead Kelly, who was festival queen that year. And a Seabreeze Blake, Noreen Duffy, who's married in America. And that's her daughter Tara. And that's the Knees. And that's Daisy Goller. And that's John Woods and Brady Woods, Polygram Record, both deceased. John used to come each year to judge the festival. John Friel, God of Mercy, and Brady Woods. All the Woods family came, and Michael Allen gave them that house up in Beechwood. So they used to stay there and enjoy the festival, and John discovered a lot of the groups, Clannad and Alton. Alton won the festival twice, and you see where they've gone since then, and Clannad are a household name everywhere. That's Noreen Duffy's daughter, Tara. That's John Duffy. And Joe, Noreen's husband, home from America. That's Kathleen Fox's nephew, Joel, and Mary. Joel got married there recently. Mary was home from America as well for the festival. Mary comes quite often. Joel got married, as I say, just recently, and they were all over for the wedding. That's Bridget Goller again. Bridget used to help Nellie Callahan up in the school. That's Nellie Callahan. She provided all the meals for the committee, and that's her grandson. He's a mechanic now, as far as I know. I just can't remember his first name. These are all the people who came to be fed in the technical school. The groups came each day and had their lunch and their dinner served to them, and they had their bed and breakfast in the homes that they stayed in. That's Lily Doherty and Mary Doherty and Dot Cullen, Breda Winston. Everybody used to come in and give a hand meeting these people, and used to be great sing-songs there. And very good food, let me tell you, was served up to one and all. You see, that's Lily Katz, as we call her. She's deceased now. And that's Kathleen Fox and Joel and Marie Greaves. And that's another one of the Greaves daughters. And that's Nellie Nee. This was a day down on the Atlantic Drive with Dermot Walsh took us down as Paddy Moriarty, ESB, and his wife Esther, and his driver. Paddy was a great supporter of the festival. When he was chief of the ESB, he loved coming down each year, and when he was chairman of RT, he made sure we got our spot in RT as well, both in the news and in a feature. They did admit that Donegal was nicer than Kerry. Now this was down in McNutt's. We visited there while he was there, and I think this is Doe Castle. Dermot Walsh was a great friend of the festival as well. And anyone who came along that needed to be entertained or shown around, Dermot was always in hand to look after people for us. It made it very easy for us all to know we had someplace to bring these people when they were in Donegal, and to make the most of their visit. This is Bridget again with the Moriartys. Bridget also worked at the ESB. Now this was in the cathedral. The 12 o'clock mass on the Sunday was a very big occasion. Father Willie always presided, and he always dreaded the day he would see these, as I said, 20 or 30 years later on. I think he's a bit changed now. Somebody from each of the group always brought up the gifts at the mass, and it was always a very, very colourful and spiritual occasion, and it was one of the highlights of the festival. Some of the Money Glass troupe, and each group would get involved in some way or other. This is Father Willie meeting the people at Mass at the peace offering. Now this is the choir provided the music that year. That's Anna O'Shea, she was praying, Anna Nallen and Seamus Nallen. I'm sure he'd love to see that. And that's Jim Nallen. And that's some of the groups. That's May Allen. Oh, that's Joan McTague and the late Sean O'Donnell. Joan's a great girl now. She's grown up. And that's Anne Glenfield and some of the groups. Anne's in Sligo a lot of the time now. Herself and Joan both live in Sligo, but they come home quite often. That's the Wilson family. Out enjoying the good weather with the groups. That's Breege Blake. That's Paddy Stevenson and Trevor McBride, two famous photographers. The late John Friel trying to get a photograph organised for Trevor McBride of some horses or whatever. But there was some big story came out the next day. I think Princess Margaret got divorced or something like that, or Mountbatten. It may have been Mountbatten's murder, and it was all shelved. All the photographs were never used. But Trevor did a lot, as you will see, to get these pictures for the Mirror and all the international papers. I think that was down at McLinchey's of Cove Hill, our horses down here. Now, this is Glenveigh Castle. That's Noreen Gallagher. And that's Mary Blake and Ms McFeely. On the Monday afternoon, Fonzie and Bernadette Gallagher, we had the Friends of the Festival, and on the Monday afternoon, Mr Michael Honey kindly gave us the gardens, and we had a garden party. Now, this was long before Glenveigh was accessible, and nobody got into Glenveigh. That's Peter Gallagher, that's Andy O'Boyle, and this was a very, very special occasion. That's Brian Greaves and Dorothy and Ken Worrell. They were involved with the Friends of the Festival and did a great job for us. Now you can imagine what it was like on this nice afternoon with all these groups out doing their dances and on the lawn. It was something to behold now, and it's great to have these memories on the video. I mean, you can see how colourful everything was. That's my father and mother, Michael and Molly Blake. And that's Brennan. Oh, sorry, that's Barney Doherty and Father McHugh. And that was Matt Gallagher and his wife. He was the boss in the ESB in those days. This is the Strabane Brass Band playing out in the lawn. These were great times. I mean, they'll never be repeated. That's Tommy Butler, who was the butler at Glenveigh. And that's Susan Walsh and Helen. Oops, Daisy, Helen from the hospital. She's sister up in the hospital. And this is some more of the colourful groups. Needless to say, I cannot name them. But the weather, look, now this is down at the pool at Glenveigh. That's Granny Blake. That's Ita and Tessie Nee and Anita Nee. Tessie and Ita are deceased. Paddy McCarn is gone as well, and Frank McCarn. Mrs. Kelly, actually. still colourful people at Glenveigh. Patrick O'Kane, my Uncle Johnny Blake, and his wife Dolores. He's deceased as well. But you can see we always had a wonderful time out there. And it was a great opportunity for people to get into the unknown, as it was then, because only very special guests got in. Susan and Dermot Walsh, Andy Boyle and Jim Nallen. Some of the staff at Glenveigh taking a few... Oh, there's Derek Hill now. Derek was one of the presidents of the festival. In fact, he was the thought. Now that's two friends of Derek's. It was actually the day after Mountbatten's murder. That's the Duchess of Westminster, and the other lady was the Mistress of Robes, Mistress of the Robes for the Queen Mother. And that's Nora McConnell, Mrs. Curran. This is inside in Glenveigh Castle. This fellow was up to some antics. He was being observed by everybody. We didn't know what he was going to do that day. But he was very amused himself. Some of the groups taking time out at the lake. That's Brendan Stevenson, who enjoyed every minute of the festival as well in those days. So somebody in point duty. That's Toby Reynolds' wife. She would have been here with the Morris dancers. Morris dancers were sort of the start of the festival. They've been coming from the very start. And they still have links with Harry Blake. They keep in touch with Harry all the time, all the years. There's Toby Reynolds, who was the person who everybody remembers so well about the festival. It was the shoes, the bells and the shoes ringing up and down the town. And I mean, if there's only 10 of them there, they made a noise. And you felt the town was packed with people. Again, this is the Strabane Bass brand with one of the Indian groups or Caribbean, I just don't know. This is our friend who was down at the lake, whatever he was doing. This is one of the lawns. It's Gregory Murray from Ramelston. That's Barney Doherty. At the close of a festival, Deesh Mackey, who's done so well for himself. Dennis Doyle. Deesh Mackey was great help to the festival too, and still remembers all the good times. Billy Watson. It's my brother Michael and my mother and father down at the back of our house. Must have been 76. Now this is another parade. This must be 77. I just don't know all these people now. But that's Joan McGranahan looking very well. And I don't know what that is now. I don't know who's... it's so long ago now. This is some of the groups performing in the street. See the crowds of people now. Still, that's at the post office, I think. Now, this is the Oma Dancers. Somebody very famous nowadays performed here that year was Dominic Kirwan, and he met his wife in Letterkenny. That's when he started to go out with her for the first time. He keeps telling me now, so isn't it lovely? Do you know that brought something? That's Larkin's bread van. What they used to use when my mother worked at home in the bakery, in the office. Donegal Oil Company. They sponsored the parade every year for us. And I just don't know what all these things are. It's probably just... Oh, there's Lauren Hardy. JCB, whoever owns that now, I just can't... Oh, there's Joe Boner. Joe always put on a float each year too. And youngsters, I would love to know who they are because... Oh, that's Brian Greaves' float. Brian used to be an auctioneer in town. He's gone now. This is his float. I mean, you'll see the work people put into these floats to get them on the road. Now there's Harry Russell's Swilly Cabinets again. And that's Kermit the Frog, I think. I just don't know who this one is. Now this is an Irish one. It's probably IAWS. Yes, Pat McCarry always went all out because we had an Irish section in the parade. And once that started, Pat always put in her float in the Irish section. It's still IAWS. They were always very generous too to the festival. Michael Mellett always made sure we got a good donation. And I would say this is the Gaeltacht float. They were always very colourful. No longer with us, unfortunately. No, sorry, it's L'Oreal. It's the L'Oreal float, sorry. Unify now. This must be, I'd say, the Mount Errigal one. I hope I'm right. Because we're going back to 1977 and this is 1999, nearly the end of it. 1978 this year it seems to be. I just don't know who these people are. You'll see how old the cars are. They're a lot more up-to-date models now. That's Phil Doherty with the Letterkenny band. That would have been the festival queen, whoever she was that year. That would have been Bridie Higgerty's group of dancers, the late Bridie Higgerty. And probably Mickey Quigley's group as well. That would have been a choir that came in from Italy that year to make some music around town. Oh, I don't know what, that must be the civil defence float. I don't know who that is, unfortunately. And this is that's the boxing club. John McLaughlin's boxing club when it was in full strength. And this is a young St. Kieran's football club with all their trophies. And again, Mickey Fish, as we used to call him. Mickey never missed a year. No longer with us, and I'm sure that's Johnny McCormick in the back of it. Now this would have been the Mount Errigal one. They usually put on a float and they would put a group on it. Now it may not be, I may be wrong, but that's as near as I can get to it now. Or possibly that band wouldn't perform on the street. That's the board. That's the health board float again. They always put on a very good one each year. St. Conal's Hospital and the General Hospital always went together. That's the Strabane Brass Band. I presume now I may be corrected in that. Another group of Irish dancers, it looks like. These are just some dressed up artists in the street. Now this is the famous Indians. They came a few years, were very colourful. And they made plenty of noise too. Plenty of music, I should say. This is the Aca Float. They always did a very good float each year, went to a lot of trouble, as well as doing the opening reception and the art competition and the flower displays. No, I have no idea who that float belongs to. Just some more colourful floats. That's the Malones from Downings. I think they went quite near to winning if they didn't win the festival one year, the competition. That's McDade's over Melton, I think. And that's Mulrane's of Ballybofey. They have a float on that year, yes indeed. They were sponsors as well. That's still the crowds around the town. That's Laura Morrow, the sore foot. She's getting it patched up with John Friel. She's a sprained ankle or something. That's Joe McLinchy giving us a song, obviously. And the Mount Errigal, it must have been a festival too. And that's Alec O'Donnell, May Doherty, Andy Boyle, Patsy O'Donnell, his wife Nellie and his daughter Anne, late Frank Vaughan. Is that Concorn? Jimmy Swinney, he died just a few days ago. Now this is December 1999. Jim Nall and Patrick Bradley, Noel McGroarty and his brother and Patrick Bradley singing, I'm sure, Lovely Dairy or On the Banks of the Foyle. And Larkin. Oh, Laura Morrow and Barney Doherty. It was Eileen Larkin there, sorry. Andy Boyle and John Friel. Andy won a trophy that night for something, I don't know what. Eileen Larkin again, Patrick Bradley. Paddy McLaughlin, Pascal Blake, Marie Blake, Pascal looking very snazzy. John Curran, Brendan Coollahan. Brendan's living in Sligo now. Hannah Laughlin and her husband George. Dorothy Hanley, Mrs. Curran. Pascal doesn't seem to like the camera at all. Marie and E. Seamus Boner was there too. Oh my goodness me, Pascal and Brendan Coollahan trying to sing. I wish I had a recording of that. Now that's Mrs. O'Callaghan. And this is an opera that was done in the convent, and that's Julie Murphy. Long married now. I'm just sorry I don't know who these people are with her on this. But Monica asked me to do it. Now that's the Murphy family. And Judy King and John Murphy, who's since died, down at the house. That house is no longer there. Sister Sarah's is there now. But that's the Murphy girls. They're all married as well.